Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with the Titans, live from London, UK, all the way to the US of A and worldwide. I'm your host, Kalam, and this is Talk with the Titans. Tonight's show, we're actually discussing racism. What is racism? What is racism? Is the kemetic ideology fundamentally racist? We're going to be talking about that today as well. We're also going to be talking about, supremacy. What is white supremacy, black supremacy? How does it manifest? How is racism? Is racism inside of religion? And that is, the three major monotheistic religions. We're going to go into that. We're also going to be talking about the solutions. What can we do to now combat racism itself? It's going to be an excellent show. It's going to be an excellent show. I'm going to please ask you guys to share the link right now. I know we had like over 110 people tuned in, maybe even more tuned in earlier on. But please get everybody back in right now. Get everybody back in right now. We've got my brother Sarah here with us. Peace to you, King. Peace.
Peace, family. Peace.
Excellent.
I'm excited about the show. I'm excited.
Trust me. And we've also got my brother Rob here with us as well. Peace, Rob.
Hey, brothers. Peace out there to everybody.
Right. So, I'm going to send out my apologies from now, okay? I'm going to apologize, family. I don't know what's going on. My computer has just done a madness where my audio system is not functioning. So I guess it's going to be the computer audio itself. My webcam is not working, so I guess it's going to be the webcam from the computer. So I apologize from the get-go that the quality of the show might be depreciated based upon some type of technical difficulties, but we're still going to give you that powerful information as always. Come on. All right. So real quickly, I want to make sure that all my family members are joining in with us right now. So we've got my brother Kush, brother Malik is here with us right now. Peace to you, family. So we're going to have some more people tuned in. I can't wait. We're going to have my brother Gabz tuning in very shortly as well. So we're definitely going to have a lot of people coming in. And if you yourself would like to come into the show, all you have to do is inbox me via Facebook, okay? Inbox me via Facebook. Let me know you like to come in. And I definitely want to get a very diverse panel, okay? So far, we've got some kemetic members on. We've got an atheist member on. We've got people from different nationalities on. We've got both blacks and whites. So it'd be very good if we get some Muslims in, somebody from the Asian or Arab background in as well. Let's just make it very, very much so diverse. I would also like to get other people on who doesn't actually agree with me or Sarah at all. So, come on as well. If you've got different opinions of us, please come on and let us know. Share your thoughts. It'll be very much so welcomed for, the world, the community to actually have this dialogue with us, and kind of pick our brains. If you really truly want to pick our brains, this will be an excellent opportunity. So we're calling you guys. If you would like to come on, the show is always open for you guys to come on. As long as you show respect, you can come on. Okay, we always invite everybody in. So please don't complain later on that you didn't come onto the show and you wanted to have your say and you wanted to say all this and that, but you never. Well, you have the opportunity to, okay? All you have to do is inbox me via Facebook to get the link. All right. So family members, I'm seeing you guys. Let me just shout out a few people. I'm not going to read the comments. I'm just going to shout out Ali R, Tiana, shout outs to Marshall, shout outs to Phil, Taylor. Shout outs to you guys. Teach as well. Shout outs, man. Good. I love seeing the love from you guys, family. So I love that. Now I'm seeing what's going wrong. I haven't got my thing plugged in. So Sarah, what I would like for you to do is take it over. Let me just fix up what's going on behind the scenes to get it all perfect.
Okay, so I think we should speak about why this show needed to be done in the first place. There's been a lot of talk in and around Speaker's Corner about what a kemetic is or what kemet is, and if it's supremacist or if it's racist. Some people have called it, or some people have likened it to the KKK, black supremacy, So things need to be clarified, basically. I myself am very vocal at Speaker's Corner, and Gary is also very vocal at Speaker's Corner. I may not necessarily share the same views as Gary. He may not necessarily share the same views as me. However, if Gary makes a claim, he will bring, as you know, his evidence to back up his claim. I myself, if I make a claim, I will bring my evidence to back up my claim. My number one, well, one of the sayings that I say is, I am your father. People don't get it. They say, oh, that's supremacist, you're a racist. According to all modern genetic studies, like human life started with African genetics. I am an African. So that is what I mean when I say, I am your father. That's not a racist statement. That's a statement of fact. African genetics are the first genetics that are the father and mother genetics of the whole of the human family. People may not necessarily like that fact. I would say personally they don't like it because they've been very used to Africans being in a subservient position and holding a position where they feel either consciously or subconsciously that Africans are less than them. And the realization that the facts are that they are your mothers and fathers genetically doesn't sit well in the brains and the minds of people who I would say are either overtly racist or consciously racist or subconsciously racist, because the facts aren't there to make you feel a certain way. The facts are just the facts. Human beings will attach their emotion to a fact, and that is not the fact's actual purpose. The fact's purpose is to just be a fact. If you find that a color is a color, that's it. However you feel about that color is down to you. So yeah, I think that's why this show needs to be done. I think we need to clear some stuff up and kind of go into what racism really is, and go into what I say or what you say or what Gabz says or what Gary says, and see if it's actually racist.
Excellent. Thank you. You know what I would like to quickly do before we go any further, I would actually like to see whether, everybody agrees with what my brother Sarah has just stated in terms of human ancestry all springs out of Africa. And, it is the birthplace in terms of genetic. All races' genetics stem back to, an African person or African Eve or African Adam. I want to know, is the statement of Sarah saying, I am your daddy or I'm your father in terms of genetic ancestry, is that a statement of fact or is it not? Is it a fallacious statement or is it a factual statement? And I've got my good brother Rob here with us. I know my brother, okay, let me just, brother, come in. Just let them know about your personal ancestry and your personal views and whether Sarah, in your opinion, is right or wrong for stating that. Rob, are you there? Oh, man, come on, Rob. Come on, my good atheist brother Rob from South Africa, man. This would have been a perfect opportunity to have, somebody to come and clarify what my brother what my brother Sarah is saying from a person of a different nationality to Sarah, but it is very versed in science itself. So yeah, everybody's saying, Rob, wake up, man. Rob, wake up. All right. So, I'm going to move on from then. Hopefully when Rob comes in, we can actually discuss that a little bit further on as well. So, as stated, let me just see. We've got more brothers who've just joined us right now. So I'd like to welcome everybody. Gabz, say peace to the family.
Yo, what's happening? Peace.
All right. Then we've also got my brother Nine Ethers in the building. Peace, family.
Peace, my brother. Peace to the family. You know how we do.
Love. And then, of course, we've got Raspect in the building. What you saying, Ras?
Well, grind me there.
Mm-hmm.
Kushite love, you get me?
Jeez. Listen, YouTube land is showing you that love, man. I love that. I love that. We've also got my brother Stefano, who's here with us as well. Peace to you, King.
Greetings from Amsterdam.
Yes, from Amsterdam. So I love that. We've got a very diverse panel. I love that. Also, let me get my, hopefully this is my Jewish brother that's just messaging me right now. Definitely would like to, yeah. Okay, let me get Muslim on as well. Interesting. Okay.
Without trying to sound, I don't know how it would sound, but can we? Why do women never join the show? I don't understand.
That's a very good question. Come on, sisters. Sisters, I want to see you in the building, okay? I'm actually going to kick out one of the guys, two of the guys, three of the guys very shortly to make sure I have room for sisters. And you sisters are going to let me know, are you there? I know you watch the shows. I know you message me. I know you inbox me. Come on, man. Visible as well. Let me just make sure I mute people's mic, because there's a lot of background noise. Again, so everybody who's joined us right now, if you're not familiar with the rules on Talk of Times, we have 3 rules. Rule number 1 is to keep your mics muted at all times. Rule number 2 is to respect the cipher, okay? When our titans are speaking or the other panel members are actually speaking, please keep your mics muted, respect what they have to say. And rule number 3 is please, no profanity at all, no ad hominems. This is a very family-friendly orientated show. You know, I have my mother, I have my sister, I have my son, I have everybody watching these shows. You know, we play these shows over here in barbershops. You know, we play these shows when the aunties and uncles come around. So this is a very family-friendly orientated show. So please, let's keep it nice. Let's keep it friendly, okay? All right, listen, peace to you, King. Where are you at? Where are you at? Let me just make sure you are being shown. Shalom, shalom. Unmute your mic. Your mic is muted at present. Okay, so I'm going to continue because your mic is muted. You just have to unmute it. So where are we? Where did we leave off? Okay, let's get into this. We're going into racism. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, people are, you know, sounding the alarm that, you know, you kemetics are racist, you don't deal with black supremacy. I even know you don't even sling racial slurs towards us as well. So we're going to try to get a lot clarified. We're going to try to get into, first of all, the kemetic understanding, okay? The kemetic understanding, because, you know, is there any grounds in terms of the foundational text of Kemet itself, let alone other African nations that practice different philosophies? Like, is there any grounds to say that they are racist? Is there? I'm actually going to pull up a text very soon, but I'm going to ask you a question. Is there any grounds for that? Nope. I'm seeing everybody just shaking their head. I know you can't see it. And again, family members, if you would like to actually say something, let me see. TD says, yo, Sarah, Kalam, Raspect, Gabz, Rob, are you all at the park this Sunday? I'm coming down from Nottingham for the first time. Hopefully we are all there. I hope so. Rob, are you going to be there? Okay, Robbie's still not there.
I can hear myself. Your speakers there, I guess. I won't be there this weekend. I'm working, but hopefully I'll be back next weekend.
Excellent. All right. So let's get into this now. So I'm going to draw for something right now, okay?
Speakers call it like Sunday church for me.
Yeah. Oh, man. Let's see. Where am I drawing for right now? You lot could talk, you know. You lot could talk. Don't let it feel like I'm just the only one here.
Yo, I just wanted to say something. I think the first aspect that we should look at is the definition of the word racism, because I was taught at the age of about 7 in primary school that I personally, as an ethnic minority, could not be racist. I could only be prejudiced. And because the reasoning given was that my decisions or anything I think do not affect anything in society, depending on the diaspora you're in. So I'm in Europe, so I can have an opinion, do you get what I'm saying? But it can never be classed as racism it can only be classed as prejudice. So yeah, I think the word itself, we need to look that up and see what the definitions is of a racist.
Definitely, we're going to go into that. We're definitely going to go into that. We're definitely going to have to go into both definitions, both the dictionary definition and the academic definition, which I believe you're looking at that from as well. That's going to be something we're going to go into. Hopefully my brother Sarah is going to have some of that up. I'm going to ask somebody inside of the audience right now to pull up the definition from the dictionary of what a racist is, and then we're going to discuss that. And then we're going to bring it up from the academic version, and we're going to discuss that as well. But real quickly, for those people out there, I'm going to actually pull out a text. This is called the coffin text. Okay, it's called. Yeah, something's wrong with my mic, but it's because somebody else's mic is unmuted. There you go. It's better now. Is it better? Yeah, good. It was my brother Nussun. So okay, I'm reading from.
Hello?
Yep, just keep your mic muted.
That's fine.
Okay, so I'm going to read right now. This is from the coffin text. The coffin text, which is a very ancient text. It goes back, I believe, about 3,000, 4,000 years. Okay, and it talks about, let's see what it talks about. It says here, this is the creator basically from the African kemetic perspectives. It says, "I have done 4 good deeds within the portal of the horizon. I made the 4 winds that everyone might breathe in his time. Such was my deed in the matter. I made a great flood so that the poor as well as the great might be strong. Such was my deed in the matter. I made every man equal." I'm going to repeat again. "I made every man equal to his fellow, and I forbade them to do wrong. But their hearts disobeyed what I had said. Such was my deed in the matter. I made their hearts not to forget the West in order to make God's offerings to the God of the gnomes. Such was my deed in the matter." So over here, from a kemetic understanding, okay, I'm going to show it from here, from a kemetic understanding. The creator, okay, made 4 good deeds. The 4 good deeds was air, okay, with every single human being, yeah, regardless of what your deity is, we all breathe the same oxygen. We all have a spirit that dwells inside of us. Everybody, okay? Everybody, we have that. It said the second one was to do with the flood. So this is talking about water coming out. Everybody is benefiting from the rain. Everybody's benefiting from washing from the waters. Everybody benefits from that. The third thing that he said, "I made every man equal." There is no person, there is no race of human beings or no other ethnicity that is greater than the other ethnicity from an African kemetic understanding. So let me put that out there, okay? That was the third thing he created, or the 4 good deeds that he made, okay? Was to make every single man equal to his fellow human beings. The 4th one was to do with the West. The West is to do with dying or death, that every single man shall taste death itself. Everybody is equal. We are all equal. When it goes into when it's time for the grave now, there is no such thing as somebody's superior or somebody's inferior. Whether you're rich, whether you're poor, we're all equally in that grave itself. Okay, so he made 4 good deeds that mankind is 100% equal. That's a kemetic understanding. So now my thing for you guys out there is this: if you say that we are racist, okay, please show it to us from our text to prove that we are racist. That's what I'm going to say to you. Prove it from our text to show that we are racist itself. There is only one thing for us that makes us superior to another person, and that is our merit, our worthiness. And there is different ways of how we can be worthy or show that we are superior in another sense, whether it's to do with education, whether it's to do with good moral deeds, whether it's to do with piety, whether it's to do with a whole list of things. Those are the things that can only make you above another person in terms of merit, but not in terms of equality in how you should be treated. But anyways, I'm just dropping that there from a kemetic understanding, because a lot of people saying that, we are racist and so forth, but I just want to show it from the ideology itself. There is no form of racism in itself. Did anybody want to say something on that one real quickly? Don't you all talk at once?
Yeah, can I just say, yeah, on a side note, when you read that, those coffin texts predate the Bible by how many years?
Whew. Whew. Let me just see. I'm gonna say
any Abrahamic scripture by how many years?
I'm gonna be really nice and say about 3,500 years.
Okay, so you have a text in Africa that says all men are created equal, although they chose via their own hearts to disobey.
Correct.
That concept has found its way into all Abrahamic teachings. Though God created whoever, Adam, Eve, however we're going to call it, yet their heart chose to disobey. Now, we had that concept before these Abraham religions. That's just my side note.
Can I come in here a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so firstly, I want to ask. It seems what you're saying, your teaching is of kemet, seems very different to what Sarah's saying, because the way I understand racism is if somebody believes that they are better, their race is better than another race. To me, that's racism. So I would say that what Sarah's saying is definitely racism, and is saying that people are not equal. And what you're saying is that people are equal. So can you just please respond to that?
Okay. So, number one, I would say that's not the definition of racism, which we're definitely going to have to pull up very shortly. And number two, go ahead, Sarah. I think you should deal with it then.
The reason why...
Okay. You better... I got
one. I would say that's not the definition.
The reason why that's not racist, the reason why whatever you just said does not describe what I said, because I've never said that I'm better than anybody. Like I said, people have felt like what I'm saying is inferring that I'm better than somebody. I've said to people so many times, is your father better than you because he's your father? Like I said, the facts are there for people to look at. How people feel about those facts, I have absolutely nothing to do with. I can't make you feel a certain way about a fact. A fact is just a fact. If you feel like me saying that I am your father genetically, which is a scientific fact, yeah, and you feel like that's me saying that I'm better than you, that's your feeling. That's not me being racist. I'm just stating a fact. So I've never said that I'm better than anybody else. I never said, yeah, I am better, because then that would be me going into a subjective realm. I'd have to prove how I'm actually better than somebody else. So I've never said that I'm better than anybody else, because I know I can't prove that I'm better than anybody else. However, what I can prove is that my genetics are the oldest.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And I'm going to just now refer to the scientist of us right now, which is Rob. I'm going to give you that title, scientist. Listen, just pause, mute your microphone, and then get you to respond.
I'm definitely not a scientist, not in any sense, and I don't claim expertise on any field. So I do not walk around the park saying I'm an expert in any field. What I'm interested in is what is true. And so when I hear certain things being said, then I need to look it up and I need to have a look at it to the best of my ability. And the definition of racism in the dictionary, which I'm pretty certain some of the panelists will disagree with or will add to, is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief of one's own race is superior. Now, what Sarah said there, he said it was a fact that he's our daddy, to use that sort of term, if you like. Now, that's in fact in question. And here's a link. 7.2 million year old pre-human remains found in the Balkans. Scientists analyzing 7.2 million year old fossils uncovered in modern day Greece and Bulgaria suggest new hypotheses about the origins of mankind, placing it in the Eastern Mediterranean and not, as customarily assumed, in Africa. Now we can debate that, whether that's true, whether that's just some hypothesis out there. I'm okay with it. I don't mind where we come from. But I think Sarah's argument, I would question it in the following sense, that if, quote, Africans are our daddies, which I'm quite happy with, if it turns out that in fact it's in Greece and so forth, I'm fine with that. Wherever it is, I don't mind, as whatever's true is the most important thing. But what is the point of that? So if they are our daddies, are they in some way better, or what is the actual argument about being the daddy? Because the thing that you need to bear in mind is that if you're going to say that our father or our parents or our ancestors is in some way better, I would certainly reject that. I think humankind or people or whatever the case may be are progressing. So my daughter will be in some way better than me. I'm better than my dad in some way or other, and so forth. And so if you look back, we have come a long way from our ancestors. So suggesting that our ancestors are better than us, I think, is back to front. Because, and even if that was the case, then you'd make the argument that whoever our common ancestor was better than us. At what point do you stop that? So I think I would question that view, and I'd love to get some response on that.
Okay. So again, because I think we went off somewhere, I just want to know, just to clarify, because we are all, I assume we are all here at Homo sapiens sapiens, and we're not archaic human beings, correct? In that being said, as Homo sapiens sapiens, does all, whether you are white, black, Asian, Chinese, whatever it is, does all of our genetic codes trace back to an African man or an ancestor? As Homo sapiens sapiens, does all, whether you are white, black, Asian, Chinese, whatever it is. So I'm asking this to my brother Rob. So Rob, in terms of the mitochondrial Eve and the Adam as well, the Y DNA Adam, does it all trace back on all human beings that are currently alive today? Does it all trace back to Africa?
Well, that's the current understanding at the moment, although this new discovery potentially might change that. But to me, it doesn't matter where that is. It doesn't matter to me where our original origins were. And where do you draw the line? When do you say we are Homo sapiens sapiens? At what point is that? Is that a million years, 7 million? At what point? It doesn't seem to matter to me. At some point, we are now what we call the modern humans.
Okay. And secondly as well, Sarah, do you claim as well that you are, better than anybody else because you are essentially the father? Okay, your genetics or your genetic tree is basically the father of other races.
I already stressed this point. If a fact is a fact, I've never said that I'm better than anybody else. People are putting, and I'm saying this is my own personal view now, because people are used to black people being in a certain place in society, and this is a 1,400 year, 500 year subservient position that people have become used to black people assuming. When a black person says, as a matter of fact, I'm not going to assume that position. As a matter of fact, I am the reason why you actually exist, or my genetics. I'm not saying that I'm better. I'm saying we are now living in a society, right, that has sought for 1,400 years or maybe longer to try and attempt to convince the rest of the world that black people are subhuman. We have been living in that society for 1,400 years. Okay, and then what happens after 1,400 years? It comes full circle, because if you try to convince people that they're subhuman and then you find out that they're actually the original human and the reason why you exist, now it comes a point where, you know what, we can no longer treat these people how we used to treat them. We have to treat them how they deserve to be treated. And I'm not saying treat anybody better. I'm saying treat me as an equal, but I am definitely going to let you know that your genetics came from mine. I'm not saying I'm better than you. See, I think people have a problem with this because, whether consciously or subconsciously, they know how black people have been treated for 1,400 years, and they have a fear that black people are going to now treat them the same way that they've treated black people for 1,400 years. I'm telling you right now, I have no desire to lynch, rape, pillage, murder, colonize anybody. That is a supremacist way of being. That's not my intention. But I will tell you the facts, and how you feel about the facts is now going to determine your response to actually hearing it. I would say, they say the truth hurts, right? And people don't necessarily know how to take the truth. But the truth is the truth. It just is what it is. People are attaching their emotions. I've never said I was better than anybody else. I've never said that. However, people keep saying, oh, Sarah thinks he's better than everybody else. No, I don't. I'm just telling you, I'm your father. My genetics are it's a fact. I'm not saying treat me like, you know, I'm superior to you. And I don't need to be treated like I'm superior to you. However, because of the system that we now occupy, we know for a fact, and we can prove with statistics upon statistics, that black people have been treated less than human. And I'm telling you, no, not only are we human, we are the reason for humanity. That's what I'm saying.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So we're definitely going to get some new voices in very soon. Okay. We're definitely going to get some new voices in. But, you know, we've got over like 175 people tuned in right now, this instant. And I haven't seen enough likes. Please hit me up with the likes. I know you haters are going to hit the dislike button. That's fine. That's cool. Do what you have to do. Like, your heart has a negative vibe in there, you're from a negative place, you're depressed, there's some issues going on in your life, you're bipolar, whatever it is, I don't mind, whatever it is, what's wrong with you, that you have to hit the dislike button. But for those people that showing genuine love and love these types of discourses, love these types of conversations, love these types of theses that will be presented, please hit us up with a big like, okay? Hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, let us know that you appreciate it, because we're doing this for you family members out there, okay? We're doing this for you. So please hit the like button. Let us know that you're appreciating the information as well. You know, if you think that anybody else around you right now will benefit from this conversation, just literally go down below, hit the share button somewhere. You can share it on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Tumblr, Reddit, wherever it is. Just hit the share button. Let everybody know that we're live right now. Talk with the Titans. We've got some of our Speakers Corner greats, our Titans here. We've got Rob, who deals with a lot of atheist arguments in Speakers Corner. So salute to my brother Rob. We've also got my brother Nasun. He was like, you know, the most kindest, loving Jewish person that you ever meet, like that I've ever met, should I say. Like, he's a cool brother when you get to know, like you know, him and Joseph Cohen has helped to dispel a lot of myths that's been circulating in the communities. Like, you know, I think a lot of brothers have come there, they hold certain myths to do with Jewish people, because you never get to actually, how can I put it? You never get to liaise with these types of people. You never get to conversate with those types of people. But when you actually get the chance to meet other communities and actually have conversations with them, it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And this is why I'm here. I'm an advocate of it, to encourage it. Because if more of us were actually talking with each other that held, you know, these crazy beliefs, like the KKK person was actually here with us, talking to us about race and racism and their ideas of white supremacy, I'm pretty sure, like, after a while, you know, we'll all kind of get to understand each other, where we're coming from, and hopefully we'll be able to dispel the certain myths that we have attached to other people and dispel our own inherent myths as well. So shout outs to those two brothers, and shout outs to Raspect, 9 and so forth. So let's get this in. Let's get this in, family. We're about to go in right about now. I want the two definitions of racism to be pulled up, okay? I think I've already pulled up one of the definitions. Sarah, do you have the second definition? And we can discuss it as well.
Already, I got a little something as well.
Okay, so I want to draw for Francis Cresswell's definition in a hot minute, but let me just reiterate what my brother Rob dropped earlier on. Let me go into it.
Quiet, cuz.
Have I gone quiet? Can you hear me still? You hear me, yeah?
Is it my computer? Or is it what?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it might be your computer. So again, as well, I believe, yeah, I believe somewhere around here, there might be a bell icon. It might be up here. If it's up here on your one, hit the bell icon to keep in tune when we go live on Talk with the Titans, okay? Hit the bell icon. And also, if you would like to donate to us, there is this super chat down here. You can literally hit the super chat, donate, whether it's 50, we had £50 donated not so long ago, £10, £5, £1 even, whatever you like, help us, support us, it's very much so welcomed. So where was I going? I was about to go to the racism definition. So we've got the dictionary definition of racism, which is a prejudice. Let me go to it. Prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief, okay, that one's own race is superior. Okay, and then there's this, I think there might be a second one here. Let me just make sure I'm covering all angles for everybody. The belief that all members of each race possess characteristics, abilities, or qualities specific to their race, especially so as to distinguish it as inferior or superior to another race or races. All right, so these are the definition based upon the dictionary of what racism, or sorry, yeah, what racism actually is. Hopefully we can get a second definition up. But from that, I don't know if you would like to discuss that particular definition, or would you want to wait for the second definition to be read out?
I'm going to wait for the second definition.
Okay. So I believe you may just have the book. You have the book for Francis Cress Welsing?
I have the definition on my iPad right now, and I will go to it. So just to give a bit of background, Francis Cress Welsing is Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. She is a psychologist and psychiatrist, but she has gone on and moved on to be with the ancestors. She's passed over, and so let her rest in power. She, as a psychologist and psychiatrist herself, says that she not only wanted a definition of racism, she wanted to know why there was racism. African people, generally, if you look at our culture, we are a holistic people. We are not generally a surface people. We have levels to our stuff, and we always have. And I mean, even if you go to the kemetic teachers, you'll see the levels of understanding. There's always levels. There's never just surface stuff. Now, the European dictionary definition of racism is very surface for us as African people. It's also a definition from a people who have never actually experienced racism. And so to get a holistic view of racism, you would have to interview or ask a people who have actually experienced the discrimination known as racism. Like, for instance, if you want to know what rape is, you would have to ask the rape victim, not so much the rapist, because the rapist will have one definition of what rape is, and the rape victim will have a definition. So I'm going to read out Francis Cress Welsing's definition. It says, racism is a universal operating system of white supremacy and domination in which the majority of the world's white people participate. Okay? We can pause there, right? We can actually pause there and say, does that make sense to anyone? Does it make sense that it's a universal operating system of white supremacy? That the majority... That makes
perfect sense.
Yeah. Does that make sense to people? If it doesn't, then...
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. It kind of goes with what I was saying in the beginning, obviously. Depending on the society you're in, which is the dominant society, if you have an opinion, it doesn't affect the society, so you only have prejudice. You can't be racist. And that's a fact.
Do you
another point to...
Go on, yeah, sorry, go on.
That's another point to push out. We have to remember racism was created to justify European chattel slavery. You know what I'm saying? So this was something that was also created by the metaphor you used, the rapist. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was on a construct we knew as Africans before chattel slavery. So when people call us racist, that's another reason why it's very hard for us to be racist.
I agree. She also says it is the local and global power system and dynamic, structured, maintained by persons who classify themselves as white, whether consciously or subconsciously determined, which consists of patterns of perception, logic, symbol formation, thought, speech, action, emotional response, as conducted simultaneously in all areas of people activity. Now, we might have to break this down in sections, right? So I would say, well, she's basically saying it's a system maintained by persons who classify themselves as white. I would agree that racism, white supremacy, is a system that is maintained and structured by basically white-skinned people. Now, she says, as a psychologist and psychiatrist, that it's a conscious and subconscious construct, right? So she said it consists of patterns of perception, logic, symbol formation, thought, speech, action, and response. This conversation, for me, sorry, I don't want to take this over, Kalam, but this conversation to me, because Black people have experienced racism for a very long time, they've had a very long time to study it, you see? And so this is basically her definition. She said, this system is for the ultimate purpose of white genetic survival and to prevent white genetic annihilation on the planet Earth. People might say, what do you mean? So as a psychologist and psychiatrist, she says the reason for racism, there must be a reason for it, because you don't just wake up one day and say, okay, I'm going to be racist. Yeah, but what is the reason you're going to be racist? Francis Rosinger said it is for the purpose of genetic survival, to prevent genetic annihilation on the Earth. Why? This is a planet upon which the vast majority of people are classified as non-white, black, brown, red, and yellow by white-skinned people, and all of the non-white people are genetically dominant in terms of skin color. Okay, so that means that your genetics can basically, in the term of genetics, you have dominant and recessive genes. So every other person of color has genes that are dominant over the white recessive gene. So essentially, Francis Cress Rosing is saying that racism is a system that was created to maintain the white gene pool, basically, because everybody else could. If tomorrow every race decided to have sex with a white woman, white race is finished, basically. And she's basically saying that white people on a subconscious level and on a conscious level know this, so they created a system to stop that from happening. And that system is what you call today racism, white supremacy. And that's that.
Can I come in a little bit?
That's it. I was going to say that. I think you just open up massive. Whew. Okay, go ahead. Nasun?
Well, first of all, what I want to say is about. Okay, let's deal with this thing about the father idea, right? If you have two sons, right, and one of them looks more different to you than the other, and the one that looks more like you says to your other son that he is his dad, what would you do to him? Over to you. Sorry, did you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying, but
I get what you're saying, but I'd love for you to get into that definition. I would love for you to get into that definition before we go into that.
Yeah. So
no. Let's deal with that fact. The truth is, I don't want to deal with the definition for a few reasons. I think it's a big rabbit hole. It's a long, you can have hours and hours and hours of discussion. And I think this is something you can deal with very quickly. That's number one reason I don't want to deal with definition. The other reason I don't want to deal with definition is that I don't believe that's how language works. I believe that language works is the way, if somebody understands the words mean, words don't get defined by people that have a different idea of what the word means. I don't believe that's how language works. But I don't want to really get into that whole rabbit hole, go down that rabbit hole. I think I want to deal with this one because I think it's a quick one.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Because this topic is fresh in everybody's mind, let us discuss the definitions first, and then we're going to come back again to your question afterwards. So, Brother Rob, if you're there, would you like to chime in on this particular definition?
Okay, so I will echo Noson's point about the, I mean, we can talk about it, but like he says, it will go into things. So I reject that definition, and I agree with Noson that the victims, or perceived victims of whatever it is, be it the rapist or racism, whatever, don't get to summarily define rape or racism or whatever the case is, and then tell everybody else that that's what they have to abide with. We as a society, as a planet, agree on certain words, and that's what we use as the dictionary definition. Now, some guys on this panel will obviously disagree and decide that they want to use a different definition. That's fine, but then we're talking about different things, and you're welcome to do that, but then we're talking Greek and Chinese, and we're not going to agree. So we do need to agree on basics, and I reject that definition that was read out by Sarah. So unless we can have a meeting of the minds in some way on the definition, you're going to be quoting that, and I'm going to be going, well, that's fine. Some woman made it up, and there's a small majority, or maybe there's more than a small majority of Africans that agree with that definition. I think if you asked around the world, most people who are not African would not agree with that definition. So where does that leave us? Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that a lot of us here are actually educated individuals. Yep. I'm sure a lot of us here are educated individuals that may have actually attended at least college and possibly university. And when we go into university settings and we have to do dissertations and we have to do courseworks and we have to do projects, okay, we can't simply take definitions that come out of a dictionary. That is not the way we do something. There is precise definitions that we have to use based upon terms, okay, terminologies that fit into the field of study that we're actually in. So, you know, for this particular field that we're dealing with, it's an academic terminology that's been presented that we can either choose to now debate whether it's accepted or not accepted. And we have to ask, is it accepted in the broader field of psychiatry and et cetera, or psychology? Is that term accepted? And can we utilize that term in our discussions? So this one here, this particular term is an academic term that has been presented and put forward. And if we were in a university settings, we'll be utilizing that definition, and we'll also be contrasting it with other definitions of racism, not simply racism out of a dictionary. Never, 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 never. In my years of going to university, we were told to use Wikipedia or a Google definition of a particular term within inside of the field. We always go towards the scholars in that field to get a precise terminology or precise definition to utilize to present a thesis, basically. So, in that being said, I can clearly see that everybody, not everybody, but you guys choose to reject that terminology and you want to cling on to the colloquial terminology. And I'm going to ask you this question. Why is it that you would like to reject that particular terminology and cling on to the colloquial terminology?
Can I say a little something?
Hold on, my brother. Before you do that, that's the question I'm asking. Why would you want to reject that terminology and go to the colloquial terminology? And is it then fair for you know, everybody else on this panel to reject the colloquial terminology and go to the precise terminology?
Okay, so the question is, who decides? And so you said it's an academic term. Is it like evolution, which is widely subscribed by virtually every academic in every field on planet Earth? Or is this by one or two minority people who have decided to take that particular view? Now, if you can point me to somewhere where all academics in that particular field or most of the academics agree with that, then I'll have to relook at that. But that seems to be a definition that is slanted towards making black people look like victims. And I'm the first person to say and acknowledge that black people have been treated extremely badly throughout history, and even still today in some parts of the world. I don't agree that they are treated badly in every part of the world. And so who gets to make that? Who's the arbiter of which definition is to be used? And so the colloquial definition, to use your term, Kalam, is one that most people agree with. So you've now brought in what you consider an academic term that's used by perhaps you've quoted one academic. I'm not sure that that's good enough for me to use, because it seems to me that person is got a particular bias, and I'm happy to say I have bias as well, but I want to know what's true. And so how do we determine that definition is more true than the dictionary definition?
Thank you very much. That is a very fair point that you definitely raised, and I have to respect that point. So what I'm going to ask right now for my members who are here right now, would you guys, outside of my two brothers, Rob and Nasun, would you guys like to actually discuss that particular definition and just, get it all out, flesh it all out real quickly? Then we're going to revert back to the colloquial definition to satisfy my other two brothers and hopefully anybody else who shares that particular view as well. Is that fair enough? Can we do that? All right, excellent.
Yeah.
You know what the problem is?
Go on, Malik. Malik, then Ras.
Huh?
You know what the problem is, is obviously when you're talking about racism on a whole scale, and you're talking about Africans and whatever, clearly, historically, Africans weren't racist. Do you understand what I'm saying? This kind of xenophobic fear of the outside mentality is not an African concept. We are an open society. So when you're talking of racism throughout the world, even if you go to India, the darkest skinned people are at the bottom and the lightest skinned people are at the top. So it's either this racism is a universal, worldwide functioning system, or it's not. It can't be racism is just all over the place, because like it was said earlier, it was created for a specific purpose. So it would make no sense for everybody just to be racist to each other, because in the end of the day, that's not how it eventually works out on the ground. And obviously the person who was speaking earlier, he said black people get treated badly in parts of the world, but not everywhere in the world. Well, as far as I'm concerned, that should piss you off as a person, innit? Because that's not good enough, innit? You'd want black people to get treated as equal, if not, do you get what I'm saying? Why would you not? Especially as what's happened in the past, we should definitely be getting treated equally, no questions about it, all over the world. And considering that there's black people in Africa that get treated with racism is a strange thought, because if this happened in England, people would have a lot to say. Do you get what I'm saying?
Definitely. All right, hold on. This is Kenneth White. Says here, racism was created by the Europeans, Germany, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, interesting. We'll have to actually do some fact checking on these particular claims. Again, if you would like to say anything to us, my audience members, just literally tag Titans TV and post your question and comments. I'm definitely looking at it. I'm definitely gonna put it up on the screen as well. So, Brother Raspect, yeah, it's over to you, King.
Yeah, I just wanted to give some background information on, our warrior scholar, Frances Cress Wilson, one of the best true warrior empress. So hail up all the empresses out there. But basically, because someone said, they don't want to take a definition from just some woman. But she's not just some woman. She's a formidable doctor, as Sarah stated. She's also been on the Phil Donahue show, where she shut it down. She also debated a man by the name of William Shockley back in 1974. William Shockley being a white supremacist who was trying to justify why black people were inferior to white people. Now, this is a widely accepted white supremacist doctor in America in 1974, which is actually what made Francis Cress Welsing do the research on melanin. Now, if you know about melanin, you know that Harvard University, which is probably the biggest university, one of the best universities in the world, especially in the Western world, they've got a whole, you know, unit of their university where they just study melanin. You know what I'm saying? This is a fact. They used to also have a journal that black people didn't used to buy, but it used to be a weekly journal about melanin. You know, Europeans have been doing a lot of research into what this thing called melanin is. And what Francis Cress Welsing realized was the reason why the white supremacists was trying to say that we was inferior is because they had realized, because of our melanin, as Sarah was saying, we had a what's the word? Well, we realized white people have got a recessive gene. So that means that if a black person sleeps with a white person, that child will come out colored. And as you know, they call us ethnic minorities. But as Sarah also stated, you know, colored people are the majority in the world. So that was just a bit of backlog history into Francis Cress Welsing. I found it extremely disappointing that that our European comrades in the Talk with Titans didn't want to accept the definition. And the reason why I say that is because you never hear about black racism. So even by the other definition, do you know what I'm saying, of, you know, prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism, you never hear in the news that a black person has been arrested for this sort of prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism in the last year, in the last 10 years, in the last 200 years, in the last 500 years. When you hear about prejudice, discrimination, and antagonism based upon someone's race, I have personally never heard it where it's a black person that is actually antagonizing a white person just because they're white, in the way that white people have done to us. Like, I'm talking black people hanging in trees. Do you know what I'm saying? And because they was hanging black people in trees, you had a movement called the Black Panther Party for self-defense that was raised up to defend the community. So I just found it disappointing that, you know, our Europeans in the discussion couldn't really look at the facts that that white people cannot, you know, define what racism is, because as Sarah said, they've never experienced it. So if they define it, they're going to define it in a way that benefits them and takes the blame off of them. And I'm going to finish it with the story always glorifies the hunter until the lion tells his tale. And our lioness, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, told her tale. Roll up to the ancestors.
All right, okay. I love that. You know what? I was going to stick up for my brothers real quickly, but you know I'm not going to do that now. I choose not to. I'm being a bit biased right now, okay? I'm going to admit I'm going to be a bit biased, not actually stick up for them and go straight to Gabz right now. And afterwards, I'm going to stick up for my brothers and sisters. So, Gabz, did you have anything to say?
Yo, brother, peace. I just wanted to say, that was big what Russ just laid down there. Also, big up to Sarah reading from the great Dr. Empress. And also, on that whole point, I'd like to say, to be fair, I was kind of shocked, innit? I was shocked, but in a way, I weren't kind of shocked with obviously our brothers Rob and I forgot the Jewish brother's name. Them not accepting what our explanation on the whole racism and stuff. But like I said, like Sarah broke down, obviously, the person that's doing the harming is always, the story is always going to be told a bit different. They're going to see things a bit differently to the actual person to the actual victim. You know what I mean? And that's a key point. You see what I'm saying? Because us being the victims, when we try to get our story across, it's like it gets watered down to the point where, are you just doing it just to show off, or are you just doing it because you want people to care and want to help you and stuff? Whereas most people like to just do the thing. They like to say, "Oh, just get over it." Do you know what I mean? People that are doing the harming always like to just throw that word, don't worry, that was back then, or you can get over it. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't us. Do you know what I mean? But they don't understand that we're still carrying that burden, that stress, and that torment of what happened to our ancestors. You know what I mean? Mentally, physically, and genetically. So I'm liking this convo. This is a big convo that needed to be had, especially with the dialogue that was going on at Speaker's Corner and in the comment sections, where people they feel that the kemetics, with quotations, are black supremacists and that we're racist. So I'm still listening. I'm waiting for it to move on a bit. I want to deal with a bit with the melanin and get into that. But so far, so good, man. It's good news, man. I like what I'm hearing, bro.
All right, perfect. So I'm now going to put on my Uncle Tom cap. Going on, and I have to stick up now. I have to say, like, unfortunately, I think you guys are actually being a bit biased right about now, because, you know, my white brothers right now, like, it's fair. Like, come on, man. Like, to be honest with you, if a definition was going solely against you, okay, as a black person, the definition is solely going against you as a black person, I'm sure you would be the first one to reject it and say, no, I'm not going to take that, because it's already, you know, starting me off at a disadvantage. Okay, so that definition initially starts them off at a disadvantage. So surely you can see why it is fair to reject it. Number one. Number two, it's not an objective definition. Okay, we're talking about racism, and we're talking about it objectively. So let's take ourselves away from our white skins. Let's take ourselves away from our black skins. And how can we now define this objectively of what it could potentially be if any particular race or people was to choose that ideology to inflict it upon others? How can we now define it? And so come on, you've got to see that at least, can't you? So that's me putting on my coon hat for a hot second. I'm going to take it off right now, and I'm going to go back over to my brother Rob. Did you have anything else that you would like to say?
Sorry, just looking for the button. There we go. So there was a lot said there. And let me also say one thing, that I see all my black brothers here as brothers. When I go to Speaker's Corner, when I interact, I don't go there and say, there's the black lot. I don't even go there and say, there's all the Muslims. Because obviously being a Muslim, as an example, is very different to being black. You can obviously see the skin color is different, but I don't go there going, hey, I'm better than everybody else, or that anybody else is, you know, inferior to me. I go down there to have a conversation, and Sarah and Gabz and some of the guys I've met there, I go down there, shake their hands. I think of them as brothers, and it's concerning for me when I hear videos and when I hear guys going, and Sarah put out a video going, do you know what, I can't trust you. And I'm going like, holy shit, dude, you don't know me. I used to have a non-white wife. I used to live in South Africa, so I know what racism was like from my point of view. I saw a change to some degree, and it's now gone the other way in South Africa. That's my sort of home country. So it's concerning for me when I hear, we can't trust you, we're going to take care of ourselves. Now I go down to Speaker's Corner, and to be honest, I do think that Islam poses a particular problem to the world at the moment. And so I go down there and I agree with much of what you guys say when you're interacting with the Muslims. But then I'm sort of standing out of it and going, oh, you know, the guys don't trust me. So, you know, where do I stand now? If we were in a conversation together, or if there was some trouble in some way, I would probably stand with them, depending who it is, because I want to know what's true. I'm not going to just do something because somebody's a buddy. If they do something wrong or stand out of line, I'm going to point that out. But it leaves me now a little bit concerned as to where you guys are. Are you guys your own guys, or the Muslims their own? And I'll just sort of go my own way. That's fine if that's the way you want to do it. I don't see it that way myself. So I just want to know where you guys stand. And if you can't trust me, that's fine. I appreciate you being honest. I can trust you in the sense that you're a brother. But again, it's very easy, I suppose, from your point of view to go, the white guy, he's got it all. He can just say that it's easy for him. He doesn't know what we've gone through. And it's true. I don't know what you guys have gone through. That's absolutely true. But, you know, I don't think that everybody is racist. And so when you say that, and I hear some of the comments, it's easy for the racist to talk about racism. It's not, because I've been there. I've known what it's like being, quote, on that side, and being with, you know, as I say, a non-white wife, where my mom, and this is personal, I've never said something, my mom never came to the wedding. So you know, you've got to be careful about saying these sort of things, and maybe we need to have more dialogue and go, hey, what's your story? What do you believe? And so forth, rather than just throwing it out there. I mean, there's a lot more I can say, but I'll leave it there for the moment.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for that. Huh?
Yeah. Right, a little Saturn for you.
I have to commend. Thank you.
Me too.
Real quickly, just keep your minds muted. Unfortunately, like, I want to address this one, but the person who actually initially made this statement is not actually here at present. So I'm trying to get him back on here. So that's Sarah, who initially made the statement that he cannot trust, I believe, white people in general. I believe he made a video on this on his YouTube channel, and he gave his reasons why. And I would really love for him to actually come on to actually give that particular rationale as to why he said the things he actually said, because I don't really want anybody else on the panel to be justifying the words of Sarah himself, because it's not you who made those comments. And if you do actually hold those same sentiments, okay, you can discuss it as well. But I would really have liked him himself to actually come on to address it. And that's what I got to say for that. But come on, Rob, you know, you're my brother, man. You're my brother, okay? Personally, do I trust people? I don't want to lie, you know. I don't want to lie. Do I trust people? And I'm talking about black, whites, Asians, Chinese, whatever, you know. Okay, I trust people, but I verify. So I hold the best. I'm a very optimistic person. I'm a very positive person. I hold the very best sentiments about everybody that surrounds me, up to the point that they show me something different, okay? So there's a process of trusting but verifying at the same time. Whether you're black, white, Asian, Chinese, I don't care who you are. You could be the blackest of blackest brothers, and you know, technically I have more reasons to distrust you because I know that you know, a particular spell has been placed upon you where you be the first one to fight me rather than my white brothers or my Chinese brothers. So in that being said, I trust everybody, but I have to verify. And that's me personally, okay? I'm going to speak on myself. I trust everybody, but I have to verify that at the same time. I'm going to go to Raspect. I'm going to go to Malik. Going to go to Gabz. Going to go to 9 Ethers, Stefano, in that order. So, Raspect.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to speak for Sarah. But just on the level of just talking for black people and just trusting other races, I think when some black people make that statement, and I'm sure I've heard actually Sarah use this metaphor before, is what you have to understand is that, you know, if you ask a Jew if they trust a German, they'll tell you no. And this is because of past experiences. So I feel like when we're talking about trusting people, we're talking about as a nation, you know, when we're talking about, you know, Arabs and white people, we're talking about as a nation, and that's in correlation with our history of, you know, slavery and, you know, persecution. Now, I do believe genuinely that alongside that history, we as black people, we judge individuals now, and our trust for individuals, like Kalam said, based upon our experience with them. You judge people based upon their character, their words, their deeds, their actions. What I have found growing up in London is it's very hard to find, you know, a white European people and even Arab, Asian people who fully understand our struggle. I didn't say it's impossible, because I can point out people that do, but I'm saying just in general, it's very hard, and that can be pointed out with easily if you look at even Adnan's character assassination, you know, and when I was reasoning with him about racism, it was extremely hard for him to understand. But then you have, you know, you have other people like my brother from Digital Dawa, who grew up in the ends, my ends, you get me? And you'll fully understand the man then, because they've, you know, once you've been around black people and you've, you know, then there's a different understanding you're gonna have. Now, what I would say to my European people out there, and even my black people that are, you know, under the Uncle Tom spell, because, you know, we don't take anything from a black man's mouth when we're under the Uncle Tom spell. Everything that comes, we need a white source as well. So I'm going to give you two sources, and they're very powerful sources. And they are white people, yeah, white European people, and both of them are world-renowned scholars, and both of them state that all Europeans, in some way, shape, or form, benefit from white privilege, are allowed to practice white ignorance, and are beneficiary from white supremacy, which under Francis Cress Welsing's definition would class as racist. One of them is a woman by the name of Jane Elliott. She is a white woman who done a test called the blue eye, brown eye test, where white people were separated and they was judged for 45 minutes based upon the color of their eyes. Yeah. And these white people in this test went crazy, and they couldn't take being judged based upon the color of their eyes for 45 minutes. But yet, you know, and they was allowed to leave the project when they wanted to, but I can't jump out of my black skin. When it all gets too much, I can't jump out of this black skin. So Jane Elliott is one, and another one is Tim Wise. Yeah, Tim Wise is a renowned European speaker who speaks on white privilege, and he speaks to masses of white people on white privilege. And Tim Wise himself says that he is not speaking, and Jane Elliott both say they are not speaking to educate black people about racism, because they do not have to educate black people about something they go through every day. They are here to educate white people in order to let white people, and they're listening to black people, taking time to understand, and then trying to let white people know to change the system. Now, a white person that has those sentiments, you could understand why we would be more inclined to trust than, you know, a white person who, you know, that we feel, you know, won't even take the time to, you know, really understand where we're coming from, and understand we're not coming from a place of hate, but we are coming from a place of love. And self-love's not a crime. Peace. Yo, Kalam, before I go, I got one quote for later on about the African spiritual side of the things. You get me? I got a little quote for you.
All right. Yeah. When you're ready, King. All right. So, Malik, if you're there.
Yeah, obviously it's to do with psychology. So obviously most people are implicitly biased towards black people because of what they watch on their TV, because of what they read in the newspaper, because of the media, what the media gives them. So when they're out doing what they're doing, that's how the racism impacts on black people every single day. So do you get what I'm saying? You might be a young boy, you might be walking into the shop, and because what the shopkeeper's seen gangland on the TV the day before, now he wants to follow you around the shop. So do you get what I'm saying? He wants to project that onto you. So the images that you're getting shown on TV every single day of not even so much just black people now, even Muslim people on TV, is to portray them in a certain way. So these things are now going to get projected out into the wider society. And that's what I think white people don't understand, maybe. And sometimes when, for example, black people complain about representation in films, etc., they don't understand how important it is. Because if you're always played as the villain, that now goes into everyday life. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's why sometimes even for a European person to hear a black person's definition of racism, automatically their brain's going to reject that, because they're implicitly biased to reject anything a black person is even being said to them. So even if deep down inside they know that what that person's saying is true, because it didn't come from a what is the psychologically normal teacher person, which would be a white male or female, they automatically reject that information, innit? Way you can't even really blame them because it is part of the wider system. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's what we need to understand. Racism, as we can go into the definitions and this and that, but it is a subconscious and a psychological thing, innit? And it plays itself out. Even if you think you're not racist, if you go and do the tests, do you get what I'm saying? There was a program a couple of years ago, they made people do tests to see how racist that they were. And 95% of the people had a bias towards white people. Do you get what I'm saying? And they thought negatively when black people popped up in their head, they had a negative thought process behind that. Do you get what I'm saying? So we have to think on a much bigger scale. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep. True. Gabz, then Nine Ethers.
Yo, bro. I just want to say before I start, peace to Rob. Don't worry, bro. No one don't hate you or nothing, man. You're still our brother in that. You get me? But now back to this issue. I'm not even gonna lie. The reason why I was very like interested in doing this topic here is because obviously down at Speaker's Corner, where obviously me, the brother Kalam, brother Sarah, you know what I mean, we and obviously Raspect, Malik, we go down there, we share the teachings from our culture. You know what I mean? It's been taken upon some of the Muslims, not all Muslims. Some of the Muslims down there have taken us teaching this stuff and representing it as saying that we are black supremacists, thugs, and we're racist. Do you see what I'm saying? And I wanted to deal with that. I wanted to deal with why those brothers or sisters, why they felt that us teaching our culture and about our history was a threat, and saying that we are black supremacists and a racist. So I wanted to hear the questions that they had towards that, and to ask us the questions and find out and get to the bottom of that. Maybe that might happen later on, but I'm still waiting to see. But first and foremost, another reason why I chose to especially deal with our culture and our history, because let's forget all these definitions of racism and all this stuff that we know out there. When you're dealing with black people and history, we know what happened. Everybody knows what happened. Everybody got taught it in school. Everybody sees it day to day. Not just saying that it was just black people, but we know that some of the harsh things that happened in history was done to black people, and we haven't recovered from it since. So I've taken upon myself and some of my brothers as well to try and uplift and bring back some sort of dignity and power within the black youth and the black family, because obviously it's been broken throughout the years of torment and torture. Do you see what I'm saying? And I think what's happened is down at Speaker's Corner, I would say majority from the Muslim side, when we do speak on our culture and our history, because it doesn't go along with their religion, they seem to demonize us and say that it's wrong, and that's not the case. But it's weird because it's like they're mixing religion with culture, but they don't want us to speak our culture. They're demonizing our culture like it's a religion, but it's not. That's just our culture and what we were brought up on and what we know. Do you know what I mean? But because it doesn't fit with their religion, they're demonizing it. But the funny thing is dealing with those people's culture. Do you see what I'm saying? The people that come from that area, the Arab Peninsula, Medina, Mecca, that area, that's dealing with people's culture in that area. Do you see what I'm saying? So me personally, the reason why I'm bringing out the information and sharing the information is to add some more power and strength into the black youth and to the black family and get them in touch with their culture. I'm not saying you can't be a Muslim, Christian, or Jew or Buddhist or whatever you want to be, but we need to know our foundation. We need to get our foundation back. And we need to start teaching our brothers and sisters this, because there's a lot of our brothers and sisters out here who are walking around like zombies in the Matrix. It's like the Walking Dead. Do you know what I mean? And they don't know nothing about their culture at all. you see what I'm saying? And I think this is a big thing because every other culture out there is practicing and doing it daily. Do you see what I'm saying? Daily things are happening. Most of the majority of us that were go to school in the UK, you know that at certain times in school, you were singing the national anthem of Great Britain. Do you know what I mean? And all this stuff. This stuff is uplifting the people of that culture. We don't have no time for where Africans are singing their national anthem. Do we even know what our national anthem is? Not just dealing with your countries, I'm talking about as a people in general. So that's all I got to say on this whole thing. That's the reason why I really wanted to get into this information and this dialogue. So I'm still waiting for any of the people that are listening and tuning in who feel that what me and the brothers are saying are racist, and give the reasons why.
All right, perfect. You know what?
That's it.
We're running out of time now. We're actually running out of time. So I love what my brother said right there. So I wanna amp things up a little bit. I want to get real controversial right about now. And let's get it in, okay? I want you guys now, who are out there, who have these very negative, disgruntled views against Titans TV, against Kalam, against Sarah, against Gabz, against Malik, against all of the man them who are here right now, I want you guys to get all your views out now, okay? Because we're going to address them. We're definitely going to address them. My brother Gabz said a very poignant thing. He says that, they're viewing us as some form of religion. And I think what they're doing is projecting, okay? They're projecting their particular religious concepts onto us. So they have a religious ideology, okay, which they're trying to convert people, they're trying to subjugate people in, they're trying to promote it as the best and so forth. And then when they hear the term kemetic and they know it's to do with black people and blackness, they're now thinking, oh, that black people are better than other people and so forth. No. We don't teach that. Guess what teaches that? And guess what you're doing? You're projecting. You're taking your religious concept, okay? Because we all know. Okay, we can start opening up Qurans right now, and we can actually testify to this. Okay, we all know that you guys believe that Islam is the best religion. It's the only religion. There's no other religion that will be accepted by humanity or accepted by Allah, God, to the rest of humanity. We already know that, and we already know when we read your scriptures. When we read your scriptures, again, I'm going to repeat it again. When we read your scriptures, that we are considered the worst of all creatures. We are considered the worst of all creatures. You as Muslims, okay, we can just simply go into chapter 98, verse 6 of the Quran, and chapter 98, verse 7 of the Quran. You Muslims are the best of creatures. You are the best thing in mankind, okay? But we, as people who do not accept Islam, who disagree with it, who are now considered disbelievers, we are now considered the worst of creatures, the worst of creation. So right now, you could think of a creature you possibly like. You could think of a monkey, you could think of a rat, you could think of a pig, you could think of a dog. Guess what? We as non-believers are worse than a monkey, a rat, a pig, a dog in your eyes, according to your Quran. So what you're doing is you're projecting on us. You're not projecting because we are saying that we are kemetic, we're into our African philosophy and so forth. We are now saying that we are the best of creatures and everybody else outside of that is the worst. You have this whole superior inferiority thing that's not actually coming from us per se, but it's actually coming from your own religious books, your own religious texts, and you're projecting that onto us. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? Give me a hallelujah if you actually hear what I'm saying. Let me know. I want to know if you actually hear what I'm saying. Okay?
Alhamdulillah. Hallelujah.
Exactly. All right? So
no, it's real life. I've got something to add to that still.
Exactly. So we're gonna step into that, okay? We're gonna step into that. Because we ourselves, we say kemetic, okay? And that's very broad. That's representing the whole of Africa, according to our creed and according to what we put forward. That's the whole of Africa. We revere the whole of the African continent, or the black lands, whatever you want to call it. We revere them, and we revere every single philosophy that's in there, and we respect them. And we don't say one is better than the other, or one is superior and the other one is inferior than the other. We respect them for the context that they're in. We had the Hindu brother on just the other day. We respect him for his tradition. We're not going to say it's better than anybody else's or it's inferior. We respect you for your tradition. Islam, we respect you for your tradition. We see the beauty in your traditions, okay? But we don't say yours is inferior and ours is superior. And we're not trying now to you know, destroy your own philosophy and try to give you our philosophy. No, far be it from us. If you are a Hindu, remain Hindu. If you are a Christian, remain Christian. If you are a Muslim, remain Muslim. But if you are black in those traditions, what we're going to say to you is, remember your history. Remember who you are first, okay? Remember who you are first. That's what I'm going to say to you, because we as African people, we've shared a particular history where we have been mistreated, where we have been colonized, where we've been, like, a whole litany of things has happened to us, okay? And if we start forgetting those things as being African people or black people first, and we start accepting the religions and the ideologies, okay, we will lose ourselves and we'll fall back into that same trap. So what I'm saying to you, if you're in all those other religions, just remember who you are and stay in those religions and be as best as you can be. But for anybody else, you know, go back to who you were before, okay? Most of you guys are now jumping onto Islam and Christianity and whatever it is. Like, don't you realize, I'm just doing a quick rant real quickly, don't you realize that your ancestors 400 years ago was not practicing Islam or was not practicing Christianity in the form that has been presented to you today? Have you never ever wanted to know, like, oh, what was we doing? What was our ancestors doing in Africa at the time before this happened to us? Like, haven't you ever thought about that? That's all we're saying. Just think about that. Think about the ancestors, venerate the ancestors, show them the honor that they were the ones that actually made you come into existence, okay? Just think about that for a hot second. And if you do find out that your ancestors were Muslims back in the day, even better, that's a better thing for you. Go be a Muslim because your ancestors were Muslims. At least you know you have your history and your heritage to teach you something and something that you can be proud of. But don't just be in limbo land, just accepting an ideology as your identity. Please don't do that. But anyway, I digress. Sorry. Let me get back into this. Somebody said the sunken place, you know. So where are we going right now? We are actually talking about, somebody help me out.
Racism.
I got you.
I swear it's my turn still.
Nah, we're moving past that now. We're moving past that. My brother Gabz said something real interesting because we've only got like 15 minutes left. So my brother Gabz said something real interesting. So I want to actually get into the meat, the crux of things, like what type of grievances people actually have with us, with kemetic, with black philosophy, with us finally wanting to learn our history, with us finally wanting to have pride in ourselves. I want to know, what is the issue at hand? What is it? Can we now stop?
I've got two.
Go ahead.
I got two quick quotes for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been good to play that video, but the thing says, basically, on one of the Dawa channels which the video went out on, someone said something along the lines, it's a shame that black people can't see their racism. And they said that they would argue, the comments there on the channel, they would argue that white supremacy is black supremacy is worse than white supremacy. This is the statement that was made. Now I still don't know what this black supremacy thing is because I haven't seen it in this day and age. And I want to also defend my Muslim brothers and sisters out there, because not all my Muslim brothers and sisters out there take the interpretation that, you know, everyone else will burn in hell. You know, some of my Muslim brothers and sisters say Allah knows best. Some of our Muslim brothers and sisters, you know, they're interested. Some of my Muslim brothers and sisters believe in the righteousness. You understand? But they just know Islam's the way for them. You understand? But there are Muslims at Speaker's Corner who will, you know, argue that, you know, this that their religion is superior and everyone else will burn in hell. So I said this, I said, I've never heard anyone at the park call themselves black supremacists. These are labels that you have given to people. By this same standard, I could label a lot of the Muslim scholars Islamic supremacists. Now, I don't believe that black supremacy exists, but let's say it did. Let us compare this black supremacy with white supremacy, especially as you say, black is the worst out of all the three. The thing is, it could be argued that a lot of Muslim scholars, including Adnan, teach that Islam is the superior religion, that Arabic is a superior language, and that Arabia is the holiest place in the world. So if that doesn't make the people from that place seem superior in some shape, way, or form, I don't know what supremacy is. Yeah, I said that. And this belief in Islamic supremacy, not from the spiritual way. This is not the Sufi spiritual way I'm talking about. I'm talking about Islamic supremacy. And this belief in it has caused the deaths of millions of Muslims from Shiite to Sunni, but also black people. Millions of them was killed in the slave trade. Yeah, and to this day, our children continue to be sold as sex slaves in the Arabic world. Meanwhile, Arab men, women, and children are also slaughtered under this white supremacy, which is so much better for you than this black supremacy that does not exist. When black people were in a supreme position, we saved Islam. Otherwise, there may not be any Muslims here today. So can you point to me all of these people who have been killed in the name of Rasta, Kush, or even Kemet? Please, can you educate me on the people that these black supremacists are killing and have killed that makes it so much more worse than white supremacy? And I'm going to finish with a quote from Selassie on spirituality, because this is what I was talking about. The temple of the Most High begins with the human body, which houses our life, essence of existence. Africans are in bondage today because they approach spirituality through religion provided by foreign invaders and conquerors. We must stop confusing religion and spirituality. Religion is a set of rules, regulations, and rituals created by humans which were supposed to help people grow spiritually. Due to human imperfection, religion has become corrupt, political, divisive, and a tool for the power struggle. Spirituality is not theology, neither ideology. It is simply a way of life, pure and original, as was given by the Most High. Spirituality is a network linking us to the Most High, the universe, and each other. As the essence of our existence, it embodies our culture, true identity, nationhood, and destiny. A people without a nation that they can really call their own is a people without a soul. Africa is our nation and is in spiritual and physical bondage because her leaders are turning to outside forces for solutions to African problems when everything Africa needs is within her. When African righteous people come together, the world will come together. This is our divine destiny. Those are the words of His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie, and I leave you with peace, my people.
Jeez. Fire, fire. That was hot. That was hot right there. I love that. Wake them up there saying, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right. So, come on, man. I'm waiting for you guys to be talking, but let me just quickly read out some comments again. With all due respect, majority of kemetic followers are racist. I follow many of them on YouTube to know what they are promoting and propagating, and this is coming from a black man. So, this is coming from Crypto Steam. So, you know, that's your claim that they are racist. People that you're following on YouTube are racist. Fine, that's cool. But I'm going to ask you, is there anywhere in their texts themselves where it is racist? Anywhere in that it's racist itself? I just want to know. And is there anywhere where this might be the audience members who are technically mixed up with different ideologies coming from different groups, but with inside of the original kemetic teachings. Is there any racism at all? Okay, I feel you. I definitely do know certain individuals who are, claim kemet, but really and truly they're holding on to other ideological understandings, such as the NOI understanding, where they talk about the black man, or sorry, the white man is the devil, etc., etc., etc. That's from an Islamic perspective, but is there anywhere within inside of the kemetic understanding where that is the case? Okay. So Titans TV. So Kenneth White says, Titans TV, the ideal of Islam is to submit our will to the will of God. And yes, that is the best religion way in action. So therefore, Islam is superior to any other ways, actions, and is the best religion. That's what you're saying. So you're basically stating that anybody who is who follows the religion of Islam or who is a Muslim is an Islamic supremacist. Would that be a fair term? Because you're saying it's the best and they're superior? That's my question to you. Okay, if you're a Muslim, are you an Islamic supremacist? That's the question. Let me just see what other comments, what's going on here. Let's see. The brother is powerful, he says. There is no black supremacist. Religion is utter nonsense. Shalom, Barak, Ata, Ezra, where you been? Okay, so I'm reading out. Harry Singh, what are you saying, King? It says here, they call you racist for not accepting their racism. Indeed. Okay, Mohibul Alam says, an Arab has no superiority over non-Arab, nor a non-Arab has any superiority over an Arab. Also, a white has no superiority over black, nor black has any superiority over white, except by piety. Indeed, and that is a quote from, I believe it's the last sermon that was given by the Prophet, peace be upon him. Unfortunately, in the Muslim world today, we can clearly see that there is, racism that's going on. Some people always say, Islam is not racist, and I hear you. I definitely hear you. To some degree, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you to some degree, because it's an ideology. It's an ideology that can only be enforced by people actually putting their energy into it. So therefore, it's the people itself. But one has to ask ourselves, is there somewhere within inside of the teachings that people have the impetus to be racist? That's a very good question. Jesus, peace be upon him, or Isa, peace be upon him, or Yeshua, peace be upon him, also stated that you judge a tree by the fruit it bears. Okay, many people say, don't judge Islam by Muslims, rather judge Islam by Islam. And I'm like, judge Islam by Islam. Don't judge it by my Muslim. See, me personally, I rather judge as Jesus taught. I rather judge a tree. Okay, so I rather judge Islam by the fruits that it bears, and the fruits that it bears are the Muslims. If I was to convert to any religion, I would first look at the people itself and see whether does this system actually work. Does the system, if Islam is an ideology and it's a system, does it produce good offspring? Does it produce something good? Or is it simply something that's ideological, but in the practical world, it has no effectability, basically. It's not really effective at all. So, in that being said, is Islam racist? The question is, then I have to ask, is the United States of America racist? Or was there racism in the United States of America? There's no racism in the Constitution. For those people who said that there's no racism in the Quran, but there's no racism in the Constitution of America. But we clearly know that the United States of America has had a long history of racism. And the same can be said when we look over here in the UK. One can say the Metropolitan Police system is a system, it's an institute, it's an idea. It can't be racist. It's not racist. Is there anything there that's racist? But then I'm sure they had the McFadden report that actually proved that, yes, indeed, or was it the Stephen Lawrence inquiry? And it actually showed that, no, yes, it is actually systematically racist. So we can actually see that systems, organizations, even countries can actually be racist. Okay, and can we see that in terms of the Islamic world? Does the Islamic world have racism in there? And you know what, for my Muslim brothers, I'm not even going to bring it up today, But if I showed you the amount of racism that there is in the Islamic world, and I'm talking about in the Islamic scholarly world, and you start reading those texts right there, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked to figure out how much racism there actually is in your religion, as in the scholarly works that's been produced, and in terms of the Sahabas and the companions of great people. You'll be shocked to see the amount of racism that's actually there. You'll be shocked to see how they talk about black people as well as being nothing but dumb animals. You'll be actually shocked. I have a whole list of it that I've actually compiled, but today's not the show for that. You'll be so shocked to see it, okay, that there is a lot of racism. And, you know, before you actually, you know, call other people racist, okay, so before you actually want to take out the speck of dust in somebody else's eye, please, please, please look at the twig or the log that's in your own eye. I'm doing pure Jesus quotes today, because no matter how much people over here may not like, you know, Jesus or Christianity, listen, he was a master teacher, bro. He was a master teacher that has some great messages to inspire you and to actually learn from. So what I'm going to say to you is go and look into your texts themselves and figure out how much racism there is inside of your text, inside of your mosques. My brother Raspect had a nice video, okay? I know Adnan Rashid was saying, no, you know, in the mosque, there is no racism. And then Ras was like, fam, you do realize I have a source, right? You do realize I have a source, right? And the source was Hussein on Hussein's channel itself. Yeah, he's there talking about racism. He's there talking about saying assalamu alaikum to certain individuals, you know, big uncles with the white beards down to their chest.
You need to play that.
You know what? You have to, you know, where's the, you want me to play it? I didn't want to do this for this show, you know. But if you twist my arm, I may just have to play it.
Play it, fam.
Oh, man, you're all telling me to play it. Okay. All right. You lot just talk for a hot second and let me get it up.
Yeah, can I just say something? I wanted to say to do with the, I just wanted to know to the European brother, I just wanted him to know, ask a question that we live in England, and it's obvious that racism is a touchy subject, but it's also a fact that racism is a crime in England. So I don't understand how nobody understands that no European can be arrested. I mean, no Nubian or black person or ethnic minority can be arrested for racism. But it's a very touchy subject. You Europeans know that you have to speak carefully. Do you get what I'm saying? When it comes to certain subjects, if you use the N-word and so, you can be arrested and prosecuted. So just on the letter of the law, do you get what I'm saying? It obviously shows who can be racist, who are the victims of racism. They've even gone to the extent of making acts of parliament to say, well, listen, if you're racist or you're abusive to an ethnic minority, do you get what I'm saying? You can be arrested and prosecuted for this. So that kind of throws everything out the water. I mean, if people don't know that, it's kind of weird, you know? It's just a small point. I didn't want to go too far with it, but I just thought that in this country, in England, where we live, if you are racist to a black person, you are liable for prosecution, depending on the individual, because most of us don't deal with the police, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
So do you think that law is a good law to have or not?
No, I just think it indicates and shows that there is division. Do you know what I'm saying? And some people are a victim of genocide. The African genocide is continuous. I mean, I don't know how you can't see that. In here, America, around the world, in different parts of Africa, civil wars and all sorts, you know, and from a time immemorial, we've been getting executed and killed.
Yeah, but nobody's denying that in history that Africans were treated extremely badly by everybody, and I agree with you that people claiming to be Muslims from the Arab states took more slaves than the Europeans and the Americans did. I mean, you can go look into the history. There's tens of millions more slaves were taken. So I agree with you. But you made a point that there is a law of racism now in the UK, and my question to you is, do you think that's a good law? And you didn't really answer that. Should we have that law in the books or not, in other words?
We should, because obviously it's to protect people. That's why it was brought about in the first place.
Hold on, my brothers, hold on. Real quickly, I know this is a good discussion. I just wanted to just play Raspect's video. So this is, Raspect, you haven't got it on public, do you? You don't have it on public. All right, cool. You don't have it on public, but if we was to check it, you can check this on Raspect's channel. This is very, very, very interesting. Very interesting.
Elder in the mosque will screw-face them because they're black. He's told me that even when they're praying, they'll move away from them like they have leprosy.
This is a lie. This is a lie, brother. So I'll tell you why. I myself personally, I've delivered sermons in a mosque where the leader was a black man. He was a very good friend of mine. He came to Islam from a Jamaican background. He was Jamaican, right? He embraced Islam, and he used to invite me, and I used to love him for the sake of Allah. We believe that we love each other for the sake of Allah. A brotherly love. In Islam, it's a concept that you have to love your brother for the sake of God, because it is a command from God, right? So he was a black man, and he led the mosque. People used to love to go to that mosque. They used to love to go to that mosque. Not because he was black, because he was a nice mosque. It was run by this man. One source. You have to go to one source, and I'm going to end this conversation. One source is Hussein, Street or Dean TV. Hussein, the black guy who's part of your friends, has got a video where he's calling to his Arab brothers to stop the racism within Islam, because when they leave, there's no racism in Islam. I'm telling you, Muslims, in the Muslim world, everything you just said wasn't there. And this, my people, this is not Islam what you just done, but this is the lie. The lie. This is dealing with the question now. It's a good question. No, but you lied to me straight to my face, uncle. I said what Hussein was going through, and you said that has not happened in education. And on Street or TV, Hussein has got his own thing where this 1,000,000% happening. So I'm saying that this is the problem. But I'm, as a person who's not a Muslim, and I'm telling you something, but I didn't tell you my source yet, because I wanted to hear your answer. You understand? I wanted to see if I could get an honest answer, because I have honest Arab people that will tell me, hey, yeah, it's some uncles, yeah, from the elder generation, it does happen. But I'm saying, don't try and wash it up like it's all beautiful. First of all, if one person had a bad experience, that experience does not represent the experience of thousands of other people.
Today I want to talk about a very serious and damaging topic, and it's an issue that's affecting millions of convert Muslims all over the world, but especially black converts. They go to the place that should be the most loving, the most welcoming, the most beautiful and loving environment for them. And then what happens is, as they walk into the masjid, they see an uncle, yeah, with a beard down to his chest, with the whitest of white folds, and you say Salaam alaikum to the person, and he don't reply back to you. So you think it's a one-off, and then you see another uncle, and you give him the salams, yeah, and he doesn't reply back to you. So after this consistently happens, you wonder, what's wrong with, like, have I done something? I looked in his eyes saw my eyes, I gave him the salams, and he never slapped me back. So you just brush it off as that, oh, it's just, you make some excuse that's not valid in your head, but you carry on. The next thing is, you go into the masjid, and you go to pray in the front line because you want to reward the praying in the front line. And the brother, again, with the big beard down to his chest, and the personal white fold, yeah, looks at you and gives you a disgusted look, yeah, like, you're young, get to the back of the masjid. You're black, get to the back of the masjid. And if it was one person, it would be, you say, maybe it's just a one-off. But when 3 or 4 people keep on consistently doing this to you, yeah, you start to think. I read the Prophet's last sermon where he said that Arab is not better than non-Arab, and non-Arab is better than Arab, and white isn't better than black, and black isn't better than white. The only supremacy is in one who does good deeds, and that's between Allah and that person. No one can see on the outside who's the best. So the whole point is, I'm saying, another thing is, because we're going to follow the Sunnah, the Quran and the Sunnah, and we're going to play feet to feet, shoulder to shoulder, as the Prophet and the companions and the Salaf did. When you go to pray next to them, you put their foot next to them, they move, they long jump away from you, like you've got leprosy or some skin-catching disease. We're supposed to play black, white, yellow, red, whatever race you are, all together, feet to feet, ankle to ankle, shoulder to shoulder, so no racism gets involved. Now, under all these, imagine these things, your family are treating you like foreigners, your best friends, and your best friend is treating you like a foreigner, your haram girlfriend or girls that you were doing haram with are treating you like foreigners, and then you come to the most loved place, and they're treating you like an alien. Because beautiful is a pure way of life, and then they come into the religion, and then what happens? People start being racist towards them. What's going to happen? They're going to forget about the pure way of life and leave the deen.
In the history of humanity, racism, which is based upon a
Okay. I wanted to make sure I play that for you. There you go. There you go. So, straight from the horse's mouth. Okay. When we talk about there's racism, no. There's no racism in Islam, in the Muslim world, in the masjids. No. We must be lying. We must be lying. You know I was talking about it. I know I've been masjid. Come on, you know I go masjid. I've been masjid. I've had those same experiences, so I know. But no, Kalam must be lying. I know plenty of Muslims, plenty. I said hundreds of Muslims in that same video. I said I know hundreds of Muslims that have had exactly the same experience. No, 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 no. You must be lying. And you know what they practice? They practice that art of lying. Even the black Muslims that was there, yeah, clearly, I know you've experienced it. You look like you've been born. You look like you're Somalian, so I know you've definitely experienced it. You're not just a new convert into Islam. You've definitely experienced it. So, and you're going to tell me, no, 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 it doesn't happen. I've got brothers who are now marrying into different ethnicities, into Asians and so forth. Like, do you know the struggle it was for those brothers? Do you know the open racism that was taking place amongst those brothers? And you're going to tell me, no, 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 no. I've got Asian brothers themselves that talk to me about it and says, yeah, Claire, yep. There is, that's how it is. I've got a black wife myself, but you know, I had to go through this struggle myself as well. It wasn't as harsh because, boy, I'm the man, but as a woman, but no, there's no racism in Islam, you know, there's no racism at all. There's no racism. But now that a black Muslim brother who you lot respect, I hope, okay, has clearly said it, I wonder if it's going to change your opinion to say, oh no, yes, there is actually racism going on with inside of the Muslim world. Come on, man, come on. But anyways, Ras, did you want to speak on that? Okay, it's mighty quiet. It's mighty quiet. I don't know if it's me. Yeah.
Well, quiet. Yeah. No, the lie hurt me still. Like that, man, because I was only saying it to him because I hadn't really watched the video where Hussein was breaking it down. So I was saying to Adnan, breaking down that, you know, Hussein said that, you know, when he was going to pray next to them, they moved away from him like he had leprosy. And Adnan Rashid said confidently, with conviction, with the same conviction, he's going to tell me that, you know, this other stuff religiously, that it's a lie. And he called me a liar. He called me a liar. But I wasn't lying. I was quoting the lion himself, Hussein, which is an honorable brother, which I respect the brother for speaking the truth to power. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I was just disappointed, man. And, you know, it just kind of just showed me the way, you know, people can so easily lie. And the bigotry that was going on in that whole conversation was, you know, just mad. But the main thing that I picked up on is that on the actual channel where it's uploaded, no one seems to have picked up on it. You know what I'm saying? I told like first 5 minutes into the thing, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's all love. Even we're still rising, we're still here learning about our culture, and we're going to be proud of, I'm going to be proud of who I am, regardless of what anyone says, you know what I'm saying? So it's all love.
All right, so you know what? Unfortunately, yeah, we've literally reached the end of the show. Okay, we've literally reached the end of the show. Like, I know it's been a hot show. It's been fire. I can see my brothers and sisters saying it's fire out here. I know. Hopefully tomorrow, okay, we can bring you something else as well. You let us know. You let us know in the comment section what you would like to see. All right. I'm going to actually, don't ask me to do a show tomorrow. Let me upload. Let me edit up some videos. I got so much videos to edit up for you guys. You're gonna love it. Trust me. Yeah, I definitely do want to do some shows tomorrow. Let me know what you guys would like to have. Okay?
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, King. Go ahead.
All right. My name is Pharaoh Phil. I'm from New York, and I'm a big fan of you guys. And I would like to say this. I work in the mental health field, and some people say, why should we learn our past? Because it's for actual self-esteem. That's number one. Number two, when I converse with a lot of other ethnic groups, Latinos for one, you'll see the Peruvian, the Brazilian, you'll see the Puerto Rican, the Cuban, all root for the Mexican. And when I ask them, all right, this guy is Mexican, why you rooting for him? He's Latino. So therefore, when people try to say we get nostalgic about Egypt, Ali, the Congo, I believe that I am genetically I'm genetically matched to Africa. So if I want to take the most triumphant part of Africa and use that as self-esteem, I'm gonna do that. When I see Usain Bolt running all over the place, beating everybody. I'm not Jamaican, but I'm rooting for him off the premise that he's black. So that's just all I want to really say. Let's not make it seem like we all have to be from Egypt. People got to understand, we're tying ourselves to the most triumphant civilization that comes off that continent. And then we're doing that for self-esteem. And that's just all I want to say. And that's the foundation of anything, you know, as far as civilization goes, when it comes to progress and want to achieve. So, and that's basically that.
All right. Thanks, King. Thanks. I love that.
So I was just 2 seconds. Literally. I don't want to make it seem like it was all negative comments on the Dawa page. There was a Muslim sister who said shortly, let us black people uplift our continent and our people. Yes, we are special. The land is special. Allow it. Raspect is not saying that blacks are superior. He is simply praising the land of his heritage. Why do people get so uncomfortable when we black people have love for ourselves and our heritage, as opposed to the self-hate we were force-fed for so long? And that's a Muslim sister on the Dawa channel, and she got 11 likes. So she's not up there like the people that was disrespecting me, but she's getting up there. So that's some real Muslims there that understand where we're coming from, just to make it show we know it's not one-sided. Yeah, peace be with you.
All right, peace and love, family. And then we still got here, guess what we got here? We got our Somalian brother Ahmed Mohammed saying you guys are racist. But anyways, okay, so we'll leave him with that.
For real,
Yeah.
Kalam, can I have a few thoughts, because I've got to shoot off to bed shortly, so I wonder if I could just have a few closing comments and then go off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Great. I appreciate everything that all the other brothers are saying. It's very interesting to listen to everybody. And here's a couple of observations for myself: is try and take yourself out of who the person is that's speaking. If any of you are thinking when I speak, hey, it's that racist, that's that white guy, I would encourage you to listen to the words and say, hey, here's some words coming out. Is there something useful? I've been listening very carefully to what the guys say, and I'm listening to the words that are being said rather than the person that's saying it. And that could be a useful thing, because I'm sitting on here as a white guy. And of course, anything I say, most people are automatically, who are non-white, are going to go, hey, it's that white guy. He's saying that. What right has he got to say it? And so the gentleman that just spoke before me, I think it was Phil. There's a difference between you and I, Phil, and I think that to bridge the gap, and I think you guys should definitely look at your heritage and love the heritage and do all of that, no doubt about it, and share it and with us. I'd love to know more about it myself. But I think the difference is that if we're going to heal, or there's some guys talked about love, and I would respectfully say that there are a lot of conversations need to be had. I learned about that over 4 years. I became a relationship expert, and I went through what is love? How does it show up? What do you do to be a loving person? And when the gentleman before me talked about he roots for Usain Bolt because he's black, I root for Usain Bolt because he's the best. And I think that's the difference. And if we can get to the point where we root for whoever it is because they're the best and not because they're a particular color, I think that's partly going to heal things. I'd like to finish off by saying, what's important for me is what's true. And if it in fact that we came from, Africa, brilliant, then, I accept that entirely. If we came from, the Southern Mediterranean, then that be the case. And I think to put your stock into where you came from and then claim that that's it, then you start to sound a little bit religious to me, because if it in fact turns out to be that we came from Europe, what happens then? Now you've built your entire castle on, Africa was the cradle of civilization, and maybe it's not. So just be okay with where you came from, love where you came from, share your culture. I want to know more about it. But from my point of view, if you're going to want to in some way heal the world, whatever that looks like, sharing it from a loving way, which I think was kind of what Respect was talking about, then a different conversation needs to be had. And maybe we can have that at Speaker's Corner, because I'd love to know more about kemetic. I might just examine it like I do with Muslims, understand it, but I want to understand your views, where you come from, what was your challenges, because maybe then I can empathize even more than I do. So, I think it's a case of coming together in some way, but the more division we sow, I don't think that's going to help. And just a parting shot here, if you claim that there's institutional racism in the sense that institutions written in their papers, because I think this is a big thing, I agree that there's racist people all over the show in every institution, but we've got to separate the racist people from the institution. Now, the Metropolitan Police, if there's anything racist in their documents, I'll go march with you and say, do you know what, that's racist. But if there's racist people in there,
explain eugenics then. Don't make it seem like these institutions or people that
Sorry, 1 second. I have to apologize. You can have this conversation afterwards. We have to close down the show. So let me let Rob finish off. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, no, we can always do it another time. I look forward to speaking to you guys. I'll examine Kemet and everything else at the park at some point. And I think we'll leave it there, because I think that there's a difference there. And if one of the last thing I'd say is that I noticed somebody talked about Uncle Tom's, and that's a bit worrying for me, because if you're going to claim that there's institutional racism and every, the claim is that the only blacks that are successful are those that are Uncle Tom's, then I'd love to have somebody like Larry Elder or Jesse Lee Peterson or whoever these guys are. You would probably call them Uncle Toms, or some guys would, on here to have a conversation with you and tell you why maybe that's not the case, because I can't tell you. You're always going to go, hey, Rob, you had it good, you're right, you got no problems, you're biased, etc. But have a black guy on here that's successful, whatever that looks like, who doesn't think it's racism, who worked his ass off to get there, and who's got respect from everybody, and see what happens then. I would look forward to that sort of conversation. Thank you. Peace. I love you guys. I don't dislike anybody, and I think it's ideas that we need to talk about, not people. Thanks a lot.
All right. Peace and love. Peace and love. All right. So we're going to be closing down the show now. So please, nobody just jump in. We're going to talk off air with each other. We're going to get it on. So yeah, let's get into this right now. Let's get into this. Let's actually get into this. So tomorrow, hopefully we're going to put up some shows. We're going to do a show tomorrow. I'll figure it out. We'll do it. We'll go in depth on something. Hopefully we can bring other people on. As today, this was a remarkable show. We had diverse peoples coming in. It was really beautiful to actually have people represented. Everybody over here in the UK, Amsterdam, America. We have everybody just coming in. Rob from South Africa over here in the UK as well. My Jewish brother coming in. That was wonderful as well. My Titans, Gabz, 9 for Boys, Malik, Jasmine, Raspect. Come on, man. We've done it today. We've done it. So thank you everybody for actually tuning in. Tune in tomorrow. We're definitely going to do some shows tomorrow. We're also going to put up some new Speakers Corner content as well. And thank you. And please just keep on supporting us. Keep up, helping us to do the great works that we are currently doing. So yeah, peace. I'm signing out. Love.